"I own your house, Patricia," I said calmly. Her $700 heels froze as her smug fury turned to horror. The HOA tyrant threatening to tow my classic cars realized she'd targeted the secret owner of half the neighborhood, including her property. Violation notices shook in her hands. "That's impossible," she stammered, "but my records proved otherwise. Last April, I was restoring my 1967 Chevy Camaro, a project my late wife, Laura, and I began before cancer took her 3 years ago. The 5 vintage cars in my collection were my therapy." Sanding the Camaro's hood, I heard a sharp voice. "Mr. Carter." Patricia Hayes, HOA chairperson, stood on my driveway, snapping photos like a detective. Her sleek blonde bob and designer flat screamed authority. "This is unacceptable," she declared, pointing at my 3 parked classics. Per Section 4.2b of Oak Ridge Estates 2019 guidelines, you're allowed 2 visible vehicles. You have 5-3 violations. I wiped my hands. Staying calm, Laura always said I was too accommodating. "Good morning, Patricia. These cars are registered on my property and not blocking anything. That addendum wasn't properly voted on, per Section 1.3. Her nostrils flared. She wasn't used to pushback. "The board approved it. Expect $500 fines per extra vehicle, plus $250 monthly fees until they're gone." She stormed off, already on her phone. My neighbor, Walter Hayes, 78, watched from his porch. "Don't let her bully you, son," he said, crossing the street. She fined Lisa Morgan, the single mom, for unapproved flowers. Over iced tea, Walter detailed Patricia's 2-year reign, 70% more fines, no neighborhood improvements, and canceled events despite $60,000 collected. That evening, a $1,500 fine notice arrived, plus $900 monthly fees. Staring at Laura's photo by the Camaro, I whispered, "Time to stand up." I called my friend, Rachel Brooks, a property lawyer. Rachel arrived with legal pads and a laptop. We reviewed HOA bylaws, financials, and a neighborhood map. The fines were shaky. 78% targeted Patricia's critics, while her ally, Victor Lane, parked a boat illegally. Financials showed $75,000 unaccounted for, labeled administrative expenses. Rachel suggested checking property ownership. Through Crestview Investments, I bought 17 houses, 46% of Oak Ridge after Laura's death, using shell companies, Maple Holdings, Riverstone Properties, Hillcrest Ventures, to keep tenants and avoid attention. "Michael," Rachel said, eyes wide, "you have more voting power than the board combined." I hadn't planned to use my holdings against the HOA, but Patricia's bullying changed that. I visited Lisa, who'd been fined $400 for marigolds. She also faced threats over her online violin lessons. "Patricia's making my life hell," she said. I gave her my number, promising support. HOA Secretary Kevin Morse visited, nervous. "Patricia's targeting you," he whispered. "She hid your ownership disclosure 3 years ago and changed bylaws to block resident groups." He warned of a police noise complaint for my garage work. I paid the fines to seem compliant while Rachel and I planned. At the HOA meeting, Patricia pushed new rules, stricter paint colors, trash can limits, and vehicle fees. I challenged her. These weren't properly introduced, and where are the fine funds going? Her face reddened. "The board has authority." Financials were shared. Victor snapped, "You're why we need enforcement." The meeting ended abruptly, but residents whispered support. Kevin signaled an emergency board meeting to target me. 2 days later, my 1959 Cadillac was towed, and my other cars had violation stickers for a new stationary parking rule. The $3,500 retrieval and fine cost stunned. This Cadillac was Laura's first project. I told Rachel, no more defense. She noted my 46% voting power could force a special election. "Let's take her system down legally," I said. Phase 1. I invited Walter and Lisa to dinner, forming a discreet resident group via Signal. 12 households joined, sharing stories of Patricia's abuse. Kevin leaked board minutes showing discrepancies. Phase 2. We hired a forensic accountant, finding $75,000 misallocated. Patricia sensed resistance, banning unapproved groups and fining Walter for his pristine yard. Victor emailed daily threats, hinting at tow trucks. Phase 3. I secured ownership records and hired an HOA audit firm. Patricia called an emergency meeting, passing $1,000 fines without a quorum. Kevin recorded her plan to monitor my house. I emailed residents, calling a special meeting with my 46% voting rights. Patricia and Victor's frantic calls went unanswered. Thursday's meeting buzzed with tension. Patricia rushed the agenda, but I introduced Rachel. My attorney has concerns. She listed 8 bylaw violations, including hidden financials and selective enforcement. Patricia banged her gavel, shouting, "This isn't the forum." Victor accused me of troublemaking. Kevin spoke. "These concerns are valid." Chaos erupted. Residents shared grievances. Patricia adjourned early, glaring. Next morning, my 2 best cars had slashed tires. A 3 a.m. hooded figure was caught on camera, unidentifiable. Victor emailed, "Remove the cars by Friday." I told Rachel, "Special meeting now." With 23% resident signatures, we forced a Saturday meeting. I emailed, "Vote to recall the board." Michael Carter, 46% voting rights. Saturday, the community center overflowed. Amanda presided, citing bylaws. Patricia objected. "I'm chairperson." Amanda showed the signatures. I presented. "I own 17 properties, 46% of Oak Ridge." Gasps echoed. Documents proved my ownership and a 3-year-old disclosure Patricia hid. A financial audit showed $75,000 misappropriated. Patricia knew my holdings but suppressed it, I said, showing her email. Residents shared stories of her bullying. I added, "After Laura died, I invested here to honor our memories. These cars were our projects." Patricia sneered, "Junk cars for pity?" Her cruelty stunned the room. Kevin revealed recorded board meetings discussing violations. With my votes and resident support, Patricia and Victor were ousted. I became interim chairperson. Patricia tried to flee with HOA files. Kevin stopped her. Police investigated her embezzlement bank transfers to her accounts. At the next meeting, I proposed transparency, simpler rules, and a mediation committee. Lisa led it. Kevin became treasurer. Walter advised. Patricia's lawyer sent baseless threats, alleging fraud. She spread rumors I'd raise fees, but at a meeting, I debunked her, announcing a nonprofit trust for 10 properties at 30% below market rent for families like Lisa's. Patricia faced embezzlement charges. Victor apologized and quit. I declined permanent chair, pushing elections. Lisa's committee inspired other HOAs. 6 months later, neighbors gathered in my garage, the Camaro nearly done. Lisa brought cookies. Walter joined. Laura's photo gleamed. I stood up. "Sweetheart," I whispered. Oak Ridge thrived not by fines, but by community. A quiet man with 5 cars had reshaped it.